Thatja Andrade, we are so excited to dive into this interview with you today. I'm really, really thrilled. Thatja Andrade is an international speaker, luxury brand specialist, and feminine leadership mentor. She loves to share the secrets to mastering the art of personal magnetism in business, in love, and in all relationships. So she really has this holistic view of how we can use our essence, our sexual vitality, and our smarts about money and business and financials and all of that, and brings that all together. So I'm so excited to dive in with you about this whole aspect that you bring to your work.
Welcome to the Sex Reimagined podcast, where sex is shame-free and pleasure-forward. Let's get into the show.
So welcome, love.
Yay! I'm so excited. Thank you for having me, Dr. Will and Leah. So excited.
Thatja is a good friend of mine. She's a sister, and we've done a lot of different collaborations together over these last few years. So it is such a delight to share this platform with you and get your message out to the world.
Oh, thank you so much. I feel so honored. Anything in this space with you, it's just like miracles and magic and a lot of juice. So I'm in.
I love it. And so our title today is Magnetism and Polarity for Wealth and Deep Love. So there you go. It seems like a lot of your work and what you do, Thatja, is bridging these two pieces of sexuality and money, which both live in the second chakra. We know in this realm that we all work in that the creativity factor of that second chakra is a big point in the body that opens up both of those pathways in life. So tell us more about your perspective on that.
Oh, okay. I love that. And I just feel like when you are sexually expressed, you're just happier. You just trust yourself more. You just love yourself more. And like when you trust yourself, you can make more money. When you're confident, when you are in touch with your energy, when you understand your own energy, right? You are able to release, you're able to move the energy that is stuck and come back into your power. I think like the most important thing, if we're talking about like how does that how that connects, right? The sexuality with money. I feel like there's many perspectives and angles that we can take this conversation, but I feel like the simplest way of putting this is just like when you know your power, you can bring that into every area of your life. You just become more confident, more content with life. There is like this energy about you. Have you ever seen like a woman that it's like vibrant and she just fall in love with someone and she all of a sudden she has like this beautiful glow, and it's just like you're like, are you an avatar? Like I want to just be around you, right?
Absolutely. They're so magnetic. And, and what I love about those women who are in their glow is they could be any age, any shape, any size. It doesn't matter like what they look like on the outside. It's this inner glow that shines through that makes them so magnetic, that makes you want to be right next to them and know them.
Well, 100%. Once I was in Miami and I went to this circle like at the beach with a friend of mine. She invited me, and then we got stuck, not really stuck, but it was a pleasurable stuck with this 70-year-old woman, like glowing, and she was telling us about her sexual like adventures and how well her husband was taking care of her sexually. And I was just like, wow, this is how I want to be. For sure. Yeah. You could feel her body. It's like juicy, open flow of energy. So beautiful.
Yeah, I have a role model like that in my life. Camille McInerney. Wherever you are in the world, Camille, shout out to you. And she is this like gorgeous, strong, wise, super feminine, yet like the strength of her masculine shows itself in her athleticism. But there's like this soft, sensual part of her that is like it streams, and like she's got this white hair that is the most beautiful silver white hair. And it started off when she started going gray, like early in her 30s, with like that one strip that comes down like right in the front with this like really black hair, and then eventually went all silver. And she's like 70 plus years old, and she's doing black diamond ski slopes, and she's like this incredible yogini, and is in the gym, and she's just like the most tender, loving, sensual, sexual tantrika. And I mean, everyone who gets in contact with her is just sort of blown away by her beauty and her magic and her sense of self. And that came with some work. I watched her for 20 years of processing this whole landscape. And when people own that, it is a radiance that kind of comes from within and then just shines out to everyone else. And they become these like permission holders. You know, there's like a place and a role in our culture where they actually really act as the permissionists, I think, for so many people who are looking up to them. And I hope and I feel assured that all of us will be playing that role someday in our future. And I hope I can do that with the humbleness and the integrity that Camille taught me.
Absolutely. We'll be following in Camille's path for sure.
For sure.
Amazing. I met so many of those actually those powerful women. I remember when we were at the meeting of masters in Thailand with
sure.
Charles and Mantak. It was so many like radiant, juicy, like sexually activated women. I feel like we're so blessed. I'm so blessed. I feel so blessed to be a woman in this life, because I see from like my mom, she's full of juice. She has so much sexual energy. I'm like, wow. You know, but like I just see it, like us women, we just have that energy running through our bodies until like forever.
We certainly have the potential to, for sure.
Yeah, we have that choice that we get to cultivate that garden and keep planting and keep watering and keep harvesting that juice. Yeah.
So who have been your role models, Thatja, as you in your line of work and in leadership? Have there been people that you really have counted on as mentors?
Oh my goodness, Leah Piper, you know very well my answer. You were one of them. For sure. Anytime that I have like a really high level program that I'm launching and I'm offering, I always call Leah. I'm like, Leah, do you want to be an invited guest? We need your energy in there. Right? For sure, you were definitely my go-to when it comes to that part of like the feminine magnetism in terms of like sexuality and expression, and really understanding and harnessing that energy of the body and that sexual vitality and health. 100% that person is you for me. And I mean, when it comes to like, do you want me to kind of tell
like from a place of the perspective of, I think, of just your life story, you know, like who have been the people that you've looked up to that have helped shaped where you're at now?
Oh, I love this question. You know, our mentors are not only the people that we pay and learn with, but I feel like one of my biggest mentors was my uncle. He was like this free spirit man. I remember like he died young, but he taught me so much before he died, like about freedom and about really following my heart when it comes to what I want for my life, and like a free soul, free spirit, and just like adrenaline, kind of like taking risks, big risks in life. I think like in terms of that, he was my biggest mentor when it comes to following my heart. And then
that's so sweet when your family can be that for you.
Yeah, I was very, very blessed for sure to have like I realized the part of my mother, which was the only part of my family that I was in touch with, they were all like super incredible people. They were all my mentors for sure in different ways. And then, I had a few mentors. I had actually so many. It's like I could be here for like an hour and I won't. So let me name a few. I really love, I feel like definitely going to that retreat with you, Leah, was like a big thing. I did some of like the Easter work as well, which is not even like this, the mentors, their curriculum, which is cool, I feel. Um, I've done a lot of like ayahuasca as well. I feel that's a big mentor. Aya, like the
Mm-hmm.
plant,
Absolutely.
Yeah.
has been a big mentor for me. Just people like lovers.
Mm-hmm.
Lovers, they have been big mentors for me as well.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, big time.
We're so
Yeah.
blessed to live in this information age. It can definitely be a little overwhelming at times, but if you just trust that like the right thing is going to come to you at the right when you need it, then you can really gain so much from
Yeah,
what's
each
out there.
part of my journey, I had so many mentors, and this is a big part of me. If Leah knows, but like if you get to know me a little bit, I am always talking about my mentors. I'm always, talking about them and how important it is, because it's sometimes, when you're going through like a transition, which I am often, willing to up level myself. So there's this space of you gotta be courageous. You sometimes you need support, you need someone to kind of support you and hold you, in the process, because it can be very scary and you have blind spots and all of this. So someone that have done what you want to do. These are the people that I tend to go to whenever I want something new. Whenever I want something that I am working on, I go to someone that have done it, that has what I want, that knows they're an expert in what I want. So I have, like, for example, right now I have a mentor, and she's making like 5 to $10 million per year, right? So it's like this, and doing what she's best at with pleasure, and I'm like, okay, I'm ready to scale. So I hired someone to do that. And yeah, I
Mm-hmm.
mean,
Well,
there's
I think that's a good observation and intention is when you notice you're at the next stage and you know what you want, then you get your body and you invest your money in people who've achieved that so as a part of your strategy for up leveling.
Yeah,
oh
it's always good to find someone who's just a little bit ahead of you so that they can still relate to being where you're at, it doesn't have to be a little bit, but just, that many
Yeah.
steps ahead of where you're at. I'm curious, Thatja, about like what you would describe like how you would put into words your specialty and
Mm-hmm.
how you combine this, how you weave this sexuality and money, bringing both into the next up leveling. You spoke about up leveling yourself and how that does take courage, and it's so good to have the support and all of that. So, how do you support people in that?
So there is a new way of being in this industry right now. Like this industry, the online mentorship, like we call it the online coaching. Even though I don't like to call myself a coach, I prefer mentor, because that's more like long term, more mastery. Like you lead yourself. The mentor is embodied, leads himself there, and then whoever wants to learn what I have got, what I have embodied, they come to me instead of me having to coach them. Like is a little bit more empowering. Like you lead yourself there, right? Like you have the power to lead yourself there if you wish to. Like I led myself to where I am. You led yourself to where you are. So it's just like, and there is like a big shift. The industry is changing very, very fast. And as of before, we would think that we needed to have like a niche, specific niche, and we would need to do that for many years and just talk about this one topic,
Mm-hmm.
right? Now, I could never feel liberated, and I could never really like allow myself to be who I truly am. Like I always kind of felt like pressured with that idea. Again, I know that you, both of you, have been doing this for years, but you have also ventured in other topics, right? In other things. And what is cool about this time and age is that we can be talking about those things that are most alive for us that we have embodied. So, like for me, how do I instead of just having one product like I used to, what I do right now, I allow myself to feel what is aligned for me in that moment to offer, right? And my general thing that I teach is empowerment for sure. And within this umbrella, there is the kind of like the business, the way that I teach business is 100% empowered. The kind of sexuality things that I teach or that I invite people to teach, they are super aligned with empowerment. They're the way they speak, who they are, they're embodied. I just take care of that. Like, who are the embodied mentors that mentored me? I invite them in and I make sure I'm embodied. So if I am talking about business, I'm talking from a place of experience. Like I have been there, I have done that, and then I teach that thing. Like it's alive. This is what excites me. Like right now, I'm really going so deep in the rabbit hole of quantum physics and just like manifestation, like being the creator and like the money thing and quantum physics. And then there will be some point that is all gonna birth like a new next level of me. That's why like every level there's so many, everything is interconnected. I'm a multidimensional woman. How can I offer just one thing when I am so much? Like I am business, I love money, I love creating it, abundance, I love creating a lifestyle of luxury and wealth and travel and exploration. I love sensuality, elegance, expression, orgasms, like just being in this tantric temple of life. How can I create something brand new into the world that has never been created, perhaps? Instead of looking, oh, what are they doing? What is working for them? I am, when you ask me those things, I can tell you, like, hey, let's be liberated. What I teach people is to give themselves permission to be, do, and have anything that they want. And if that's within sexuality or business or whatever, their bodies, their lifestyle, their relationships, then it doesn't matter because we're talking about a full spectrum kind of life. And it's multidimensional. You cannot choose one thing, right? It's all the things. And if I feel that I'm not an expert in one thing, I go and I get an expert to talk about that thing, right?
I love that. Yeah, I love how you're highlighting this. I know for myself and for a lot of entrepreneurial friends, it was something that we had to heal from. Was like you need to pick one niche, and you need to do that one niche. I mean, my first coach was like, either pick sexuality or hormones. I'm like, but they're the same thing. I can't pick one. They are synonymous in my mind.
So limiting.
Yeah, it's so limiting.
It's so limiting when we live in an unlimited universe.
That's right. It's not congruent.
Yeah. How can we bring the reality, the truth of the universe into business, into how we do business, into how we do relationships, into how we love ourselves? It's freaking unlimited. We got to unlimit ourselves in every way possible.
So can you give us...
I like that message. I think that's like you just zeroed in on like the clarity of what your specialty might just be is really unplugging the belief that we're limited. Yeah. And really like full on exploration of our limitlessness.
I think that's my specialty. It's like, okay, I am fully unlimited potential. Yeah. And I am, I'm here to liberate you to step into your unlimited potential because you are divine as much as I am magnificent and divine. You are magnificent and divine. look at this, what we created. We created everything. Our consciousness created everything. Imagine what we can create. It's like we're in an era where we can make the impossible possible. And that's what we're stepping into right now.
Yeah, and bringing in the quantum physics that you're real geeked out on right now, is like, it's just, that's it right there. That's the like definition of it. That's what it is to be in that unlimited space. So tell us about, like, do you have like a fun client story or something where somebody came in and they were just like, I have to do it this way. I learned this is the only way. I'm stuck in this and it's not working. It worked for so and so, but it's not working for me. That you just took them and brought them to that unlimited place.
Yeah, like we want like a before and after snapshot of a miracle story that you had the privilege to be a part of.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. There is this woman right now. So I'm also stepping into, like, before I was starting to go into really teaching online coaches only. And then I pivoted and I was like, my work doesn't need to be constrained or restricted only for that. And I'm like, I know that so many people can benefit from all of this. Why would I? Not even what I teach is only for these people. So I have been working. I mean, I just did a course. I was just something that is fresh for me. There's this client, this woman. I mean, even everything is interconnected, right? Like, I am not a very strong in email marketing, myself. And I was like, I'm just gonna send an email and tell people, like, hey, I don't like email marketing, but hey, here I am. And this is like, I don't like email marketing. So, and I still make money. And I wrote an email like this, just telling the truth like it is, and then offering my course at the end. I'm like, let me just tell the truth and then offer, like, hey, do you want to come in with me into this truth? And then this woman, she's like, oh my God. She sent me like a huge email like that. I never seen her in my life. Like, she just came out of the blue and she's like, oh my God, I need to be in this course. I want to work with you because this is exactly what I have been telling myself, but I don't see anybody talking about that. And I knew in my intuition that it was possible to have a business that you feel pleasure and that you don't have to do the things that you don't want to do. Anyways, so she came in and it's so funny. And then she came in and she started, she's an artist. She paints. She's just creating art. She said that she was working with people that she didn't like. They were pain in the ass. They wanted to pay very little for her work. She was also selling like very like small prices, like low price, art, pieces. And then she's like, I'm ready to level up. So she joined the program. And during the program, she started selling like $10,000. And we brought in Ben Namadi into my program. Like, he's a billionaire. He's a friend of mine. And he's very into art as well. So this is the kind of thing that happen in my containers, right? I invite people, like I said, that are like, so the day was wealth consciousness, the day that I invited him. And I'm like, I'm going to invite the wealthiest person that I know. And I invited Ben, created a real estate empire in the US. And he gave he gave her a new perspective. He was like, yeah, like, you, instead of selling your art pieces for 10, start selling for $100,000. That's just like, like, what? Is it possible even, right? Is it possible? And because she was in the inner circle, now she has access to Ben, that knows a lot of galleries and owns hotels all over US. So we're connecting both of them now. So this is the kind of possibilities that can happen, when we follow that inner guidance. So my first guidance was like this. Okay, if I'm gonna do this email marketing, I'm gonna make this fun. I created this fun email in 5 minutes, because when it's not fun, it takes me 2 hours. I created
Right.
5 minutes. I created this email.
Right.
I sent it to my mailing list. In a few hours, I had this woman, like, super fully in. Never seen her before. Paid in full. Joined the program. Someone that I never really, and I like someone doing a branding course, and she has like a art thing. Like, what are the chances that a painter would join an online branding course? Like, I'm like, yeah, let's do it. You have a brand, like, and then it opened my mind even more to who I can serve. And I'm like, I can serve anybody, literally, like, that wants to unlimit, their thing, their mind, their consciousness. So she came in 2 days before. I was having a dinner with Ben, and I invited him to teach. He said yes. And then in the thing, he dropped the wisdom, and I was asking the questions. We were having the conversation just like we are right now. Few people, few experts having a conversation, opening people's minds. The girl now is like, going
Ding, ding, ding.
skyrocket.
Love that.
That's,
Such a
that's
great story. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I
Snaps
mean,
for
it's,
her.
yes.
And
good.
snaps for Ben. Thanks, Ben.
Yeah.
Help a sister out,
Totally. And just to have that confidence in that new belief system. It's really those old limiting beliefs that hold us back from what's actually possible. I mean, there is unlimited money out there to be had, right? There's unlimited good sex out there to be had. And so when you drop into that belief and you know that to be true, it's much easier to experience it.
And the thing is, one thing that I learned, I learned that this lesson came through because of Ben. One thing that I learned is like, and now it's really, all of this is really like grounded and embodied and encoded. Everything that we receive is the universe giving to us. Even if it was Ben saying those things, it was the universe giving to her. He was just a channel, as I was the channel, as whatever, Zoom was the freaking channel as well, right? So it's like, and this can really change relationships, can really change like in relationships with, like, in a couple relationship or something, like, we often give or receive, and we don't feel, or we might feel that we're giving too much, and I was like, Ben gives to so many people, and I'm like, and I never felt like I needed to be like, and thank you so much, or but I see people doing that, right, with him, because I'm hanging out with him, like, he's my bro, like, super chill, and then I see all these people that he helps, like, and I have this understanding. I'm like, Ben, you're just such a channel. And he's like, it's not me giving Thatja. It's the universe. It's life giving to them through me. I understand that this is not me. And that's when you can create wealth and love and orgasms. Like, that's where, like, the third stage or the potential is unlocked.
Yeah, that also sounds like someone who's done their work.
Yeah, absolutely. Cleared a lot of blocks, a lot of things that probably were passed down from family members and generations. And so,
yeah, well, arrogance is a tricky thing. Some people, they have to have the credit, right? The ego does take this kind of shadowy figure and kind of can warps it. They want to take all the credit. I think that what you're naming is actually a really powerful message for all of us to have some reflection over. Where are we taking credit? Where it's really just where we could switch our perception and realize that none of this belongs to us.
That's right.
None of this is ours. All we are just these little cells in these electrical circuits, and our job is to remember to love. And if we stay open to love, then miracles work through us. And what a blessing to be in association with like love creating miracles, and that's through generosity and forgiveness and acceptance and joy and peace and friendship and all those things that none of us owns any of it.
And it's so much more pleasurable and fun when you do that, right?
Yeah, like grace just triples and quadruples, you
So
know?
so let's say we've got some listeners who are like, yeah, that all sounds great, but I'm nowhere near that. I don't know how to get there. What would you give
Yeah,
them
I'm
a tip,
suffering.
Thatja?
Yeah.
Like what
I
would you
love
say to
that.
them?
Yeah.
Well, I feel like the first thing, and it might sound annoying what I'm gonna say, but that's where
okay.
that's where you start, darling.
Lay down, girl.
Annoy us.
Yeah.
Yeah. The first thing it's like appreciation.
Mm.
Appreciation.
Yeah, totally.
Appreciation is
Gratitude
the
practice.
first thing. And I will take it to the next level because okay, I will say more than one thing, but like let me just explain why appreciation. Because like what happens when you're like when the banks they use that term appreciation, right?
Yeah.
Right.
Why? Oh, your money is appreciating. That means that your money is growing.
Mm-hmm.
So anytime that we appreciate that thing multiplies. So either we live in a holographic universe. Let me take a little bit to the next level because the first thing is like, okay, you don't have, there is no difference between someone that has $50 million than someone that has 25 in debt. There's no difference. You know why? Because this is an illusion. We are playing the human game, and the human game is a movie, is an illusion. It is not real. A character in a movie that has $50 and another one that has $50,000 in their bank account, there's no difference because it's a movie. They're only characters. It's not real. So as long as when we can really step into that truth and we can really and takes practice. But okay, so start with appreciating where you're at. I'm just gonna leave it at that because it's on an illusion. So once you appreciate after time, like just this number one practice of appreciating, it's like every time you pay a bill, it's like I instead of saying let me pay, just say let me appreciate.
Love that.
Okay.
Yes.
I do too. That's great.
You go into your bank account, and when you have that feeling, oh my God, it's like so much money I spend and I owe. You go into your bank account and look into each line, and you remember the wonderful time you had with that thing, and you say, I appreciate that. I appreciate that. And I appreciate that dinner. I appreciate paying my rent because I have a place to live. I appreciate that jacket that I bought because it warms me up and it looks stunning. I appreciate this. With time, this is what's going to do. The energy of appreciation, the frequency of appreciation is going to triple that at least. That's a practice. And it's an energy that you choose to step in because scarcity, they're like scarcity and abundance, they cannot coexist. However, you can choose moment by moment, right? Because like in a moment, if you are vibrating scarcity, there is no freaking way that you're gonna receive abundance. So, but you can in a moment shift by appreciating things.
So if somebody's having a day or a period in their life where all the thoughts that are running through their head are like, gosh, I don't have enough money to pay my rent this month. I don't have enough money to pay the electrical bill. I don't have enough money to put into my kid's mouth, food into their mouth. I don't have this. I don't have that. And my hip hurts and my leg hurts. And I had another migraine yesterday. And da, 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 da. So they need to find one thing that they can appreciate.
Everything. They have to appreciate all of those things because it's all an illusion. Everything that is going right now in their lives, all those things that you said, they're all illusions. So they are so fucking magnificent. This person that you just described is a divine creator, is a magnificent divine creator. Their consciousness created all of that you just described.
Right.
We were raised, educated, programmed, whatever you want to call, to believe that we have no power. And then that was our consciousness. So by understanding that, okay, all of this, let me just see what happens. Let me just like appreciate my hips that are hurting. Let me appreciate that I have, this bill to pay. Let me appreciate all of this. I know it's hard and it takes time. There is a book though that you can read. I'll give you the book. It's a call to order in Amazon and read it and commit to this process if you want to learn. It's called Busting Loose from the Money Game.
What's it called again?
It's called Bust Loose from the Money Game.
Bust loose from the money game. Go get it on
it's
Amazon
about
now.
Consciousness.
Cool.
It's about consciousness more than money. It's focused in money, but it's about you really becoming the creator of your reality. I think that's a good book too. Not to get started, but if you start there, good on you.
That's a good place to start.
Yeah, we'll add that to the show notes for this episode.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Yeah, this book changed my life for sure.
Okay.
Yeah, I feel like this is one thing that you can do. Let's see. Another thing is intention. So, have you seen that scientific that Emoto, the water?
Oh yeah, the water.
The experiment with the water, right?
Yeah.
Like you say to the water, love, you put the energy of love, and there's a form, and it's all beautiful, and there's this frequency of love. You say to another thing, another water, gratitude, and then there's another form, right? So what this helped us see is that our thoughts and our intention has tremendous power over physical form reality. And imagine if our thoughts can do this to water. Imagine what our thoughts can do this to ourselves, given the fact that we're 80% water. So the power of intention, and this we create with water, but literally like we can create a reality with intention. The thing with intention is you got to set an intention and then you have to release the expectation. Because when you're observing something with like the need of or trying to control, then you are not anymore in the field of potentiality, because the field of potentiality is unknown. So when you set an intention, you got to release and let the field do the work for itself, and you won't know how it happens until it's done, until it happens, and it's going to be like a miracle. So if you were having a life, you're really in a place that you feel that you're miserable, which you're not. It's just an illusion. You are a miracle of God. But if you want to change your human game, your holographic field, like whatever is in your hologram, then appreciating and having the intention, but without having too much pressure on it. Setting an intention and then letting go. And
so for example, an intention then from that perspective might be something, instead of saying, oh, my intention is to have this many clients next month and to make this amount of money next month, the intention might be more like, my intention is to have a lot of fun next month and to serve a lot of people and to feel really joyful and blissful about it. And
to make a lot and to appreciate a lot of appreciation.
Yeah, and to appreciate financially
in all forms, in all forms of abundance.
Yeah.
Especially my bank account.
Everything. Appreciate even if you don't have a client next month, even if you don't have joy next month. Appreciate because you created it. You're such a magnificent creator. You created that with your consciousness. So if you created that, you can create anything. Right. The thing is, like, it takes the same amount of effort. Okay, so this question is a great question. What I say, it's like you can set an intention any types of intention. You can say, oh yeah, I want whatever number of clients and whatever number of money. But if you're not an energetic match for that money, It's like, it's not gonna happen. And also, like, it is gonna come to you when it's gonna come to you. It's not about time, it's about alignment. It's not about you setting a goal and time, because that's in the field. It's not in the field of potential. Like, we're talking about making the impossible possible, or like going from bad to good, or it's just like, or even going, like, you kind of want to go to your next level. It's like, yeah, like, I love what you said. I am going to appreciate everything. And if you can take a moment by moment like that, and you can wake up in the morning, set your intention, forget about it, and just keep appreciating everything. Oh, I would love to have $10,000 this week, this month, whatever you're at, this day, whatever you're at in terms of money. But like, I love to have 3 clients, one new client this month. And then you're just like, oh my God, I appreciate this water right now. Mm. And then you just, become that God, the goddess that you are through that, and soak in that vibration. And then things that you want, there will be a point, if we do that enough practice, an ongoing practice, there will be a point that we can create literally like anything that we want in a matter of moments. Like, I was in my okay, let me tell you a story. You want to hear a story, like a miracle? I was staying with Brian Wood. One of my mentors, Leah Piper, knows him. I went to LA, and then Brian was like, come stay at my house. What do you mean? Like, and I'm like, absolutely. Like, he's my mentor. I paid him so much money to be my coach, my breathwork coach. But he's not a breathwork coach, right? He's a wizard. Like, this guy, he's like magic. He's one of my mentors that taught me so much. So I went to his house and I stayed with him there for a few days. And I kid you not, he would be like, oh, I'm so hungry. And then after 5 minutes, someone knocked at his door, left a pie on the floor, and left. He opened the door, there was a pie on the floor. And we were like, okay. And we just did a little prayer, like 10 minutes before that. He said he was hungry. We did like a manifestation kind of thing. He showed me. And then after that, next day, oh, I'm so thirsty. I swear to God, he received 5 gallons of the spring water that it cost like $1,000 in his freaking door, together with a bunch of like beautiful sacred geometry, tree of life water bottles and containers, right? And he would just say like, I want this. And after a few minutes, it would manifest. He's the one who gave me this book, by the way.
So instant manifestation, but through practice, right? Through really honing in on the appreciation factor. Yeah, I love this. Appreciation to appreciate.
There's more to it, but yes, I think like this is the main thing. This is like the beginning.
So what type of obstacles have you found in your own journey with this that you've needed to overcome in order to really be more wholeheartedly in? Because I think it's one thing to say, oh, just do this, and it can kind of sound like magical la-la, and it's like, oh, that works for so-and-so, but I'm over here in the real world dealing with hardcore shit that I can't seem to think my way out of. And I'm sure that the people who have found this spark, who are wholeheartedly in and are receiving the miracles, also had their obstacles in being able to go, I believe in this, I believe in this, I believe in this. So can you speak to that? Like, how do you talk your way beyond the obstacles as you begin to face them?
I face obstacles every day, all day, right? And then the thing is, we deal with obstacles as they come. We don't go looking for them. We let them come to us, because like we just take like
But
we
even that is challenging. I mean, most people don't just wait for obstacles to find them. They're worrying about future obstacles all day long. They're either in the past worrying about how fucked up they were 5 years ago, and now they're worrying about the future, and they'll think about obstacles all day long that aren't even a reality yet.
100%.
And
Like,
that's human nature. I mean, our brain is
there's
wired that way.
there's many layers to that. I love that question because like I feel like self-doubt because we were so trained to believe that we are so powerless and so weak and so
Messed up.
limited,
Yeah.
messed up, limited. We were trained hardcore, like hardcore. And I am like, seriously, I go through those every single day, right? Like half an hour ago, I dropped into prayer because I had a thought that was limited, and then I'm like, okay, I'm going to do what I know. I'm going to drop into prayer. I'm going to tell myself, I appreciate this creation. Thank you so much. I appreciate this creation. My consciousness created this, and this is not real. And then I dive deep. I can then dive deep into the feeling of discomfort of whatever it is. I feel deeply. So I'm like, ugh, what is the feeling? Give me an example.
Like
Let's
a
say.
tight or like a clenching.
Stomachache, yeah.
Like, nausea sometimes.
The collapsing.
What is the psychological one?
What is the what?
Like, okay, you're telling me the physical pain. Now, tell me a psychological pain.
What's the thought?
Thought.
The thought. So, the stock market has just decimated my nest egg. And what is going to happen if this war doesn't like clean itself up, because it is just going to continue to plummet. And I wonder if I should pull all my money out, and I wonder if I should pay off my house. Here comes the tumble, right?
So you go in. You see, like there are like it's a loop. It's like first the stock market went down, and they're like, I wonder if I'm going to like run out of money.
Yeah.
Should I sell my house? If I sell my house, what is gonna happen? I'm gonna be homeless. Yeah, and then it keeps going, right?
Yeah, the catastrophizing will get worse and worse.
It's a downward spiral.
Yeah,
it's a downward spiral. So you can definitely. Most people will just do that, right? We'll just keep going this spiral, right? Most people that's
worry until they make a bad decision.
Yeah, exactly. They worry, and then once they act and make a bad decision that is gonna create another reality, which is not really a reality, but anyways, another thing in their hologram that is going to even hurt more, and the loop continues. So when this happens, you don't stop yourself. You go into the freaking loop. You feel it, you dive deep, you feel it. And then this is gonna happen, and then you're just like, I am the power and presence of God or goddesses, whatever resonates with you. I am divine intelligence. You just remind yourself, I am the power and presence of God. I am like what it means to you, right? And then you say to yourself, I appreciate this. I am magnificent. My consciousness created this. This is not real. You remind yourself that this is not real. Whatever happens, it is not real. Scientifically proven, it is not real. I'm not just here saying that it's not real because I'm like hippie. I'm just saying like science can prove that this physical world is an illusion, basically. You can't really, we're trying to understand how does that work and consciousness and we can't understand very well, but what we know here right now with our discoveries is like we can become more conscious of our power, and the more conscious we become, the more we understand that this is our reality. We become the observer. Like this is a movie. Okay, let's say it's a movie. Let's say this is like, oh, the stock market just fell down. And then you're like, this is not real. This is an illusion. So this is an illusion. Okay. So then you told yourself the truth, right? You told yourself the truth. You are divine intelligence. You are God because that's who you freaking are. Your consciousness, this is what it is. Your consciousness is so powerful that you created this. And you tell yourself, this is not truth. This is not true. The next thing you do is you reclaim power. You say, I feel my power coming back to me. And all of this may sound like, oh my God, Thatja, this is not what I asked. But look, you reclaim your power. In that moment, you're reclaiming your power. You can feel your power coming back to you. You're feeling your power surging through you and you're reclaiming the power. And then you appreciate, thank you for this. And once you do that, enough, and you remind yourself that that creation is, you created that. You created, this is your consciousness created that. You put it so much power. You proved yourself that it was so real. You know, they spend billions of dollars in the Hollywood movies. The most expensive thing to pretend, you know, the thing that people want, in order for people to believe it's real, there needs to be so much power. Hollywood movies, they put so much money into those movies where it's like, how do you say that in English when it's not real people? It's like animation.
A mirage or
or animation. Yeah,
So
yeah.
the most expensive and most difficult thing is to animate hair, right? In the Hollywood movies. So they created like this movie and they invested like billions and billions of dollars to create freaking hair only. You know why? Because they want to make people believe it's real.
Sure. Yeah.
So this concept is a concept that will deconstruct and destroy everything that we've ever been taught. And I'm so excited for this. And I'm just so fucking excited for this. Sorry for my French. I just came out.
You can curse on here. You should have heard me just the other day. I was just cursing up a storm on here. I was in quite a fever. But so if I were to kind of hear what you have to say and summarize it, you know, what I hear you saying, it's like, don't try to control the negative thoughts, right? They're going to flow in, watch them, and then have a moment of being able to go, well, that was an interesting movie. You know, like you can actually watch your thoughts like you just watched a movie. Like, wow, I went all the way from losing my nest egg to living on the street. That was just like, what a ride, you know? And to be able to like not take it so seriously, to just go, look, it's just thoughts. Look at how creative the story is, you know?
But yes, I love that. And your thoughts create your reality. So we have an opportunity here to take those thoughts when they pop in and just remind that they are creating like, this is just a creation of my consciousness. Like the reason why like I don't have whatever, like the house that I want, whatever, it's a miracle. It's beautiful. And I understand what you're saying. It's like creating, like not taking it so seriously is amazing, because then you have the understanding that this is an illusion and it's a movie, and it's also an opportunity.
Well, yeah, I would imagine, like, why would I want to go through the hell of living on the street because I'm overthinking it, right? Or I'm starting to believe a story that actually it doesn't have to happen. It doesn't actually have to be created just because I had the thoughts that could create it. I can stop myself from actually creating it by just taking a step back and zooming out and going, what a ride, you know, and then start thinking about something that's more productive. You know, how is that not true? You know,
Right.
look at me. I still got money in the stock market.
Right.
It's not all gone.
What a
Right.
tantra.
It's not all gone. Yeah.
And
One of
then the appreciation starts to roll out. Even the humor is appreciating the negative thoughts. You know, so then you can bring more power to it through the lens of appreciation, of going, wow, look at me living on the street. That is like, I really appreciate where I just went. Like, that was some scary ass shit. I'm glad I don't actually have to do that. You know, just because I thought of it, I can now maybe not unthink it, but I can think of something else to create that actually leads me in the direction of where I want to go.
You could think of the exact opposite of you like living in a palace somewhere with
like, whoa, wow, look at the stock market, like completely kind of smash around my wealth. And now what's the opportunity here? You know, what can I buy to allow the stock market to now burst in the other direction and the wealth just explode? I don't know. I mean, I have no idea whether this has not gone tested on my side of the street. So I guess I'm asking you, Thatja, is that a good strategy?
Anything that will remind you that this is an illusion is a good strategy. Anything that will bring you back to joy, this energy of fun, is a good strategy. Anything that will just like dissolve a little bit and bring you back to your power is a good strategy. That's why like going on like a self-pleasure practice is a strategy. That's why you can make money from being in that frequency of like self-love. It's like, oh my God, I'm so powerful, I'm so delicious, I'm so juicy. And then from that place you go and you make money, or you find your lover is like, oh my God, baby, let me take you out, like whatever, let me give you flowers, you look so beautiful today. Is energetic, you know.
Cool.
Yeah, that really points to the ancient tantric practice of sex magic, you know, where you're being in the frequency of what it is that you want to experience in your life and making love to that feeling and that sensation of whatever it is, financial security or love security. One of the things that I love that you really just highlighted is you go through this process and you identify, okay, but that's not real. And then you resource yourself with what is real. So the external reality that we're living in is going to go up. It's going to go down. It's going to expand. It's going to contract. That's nature's way. Like we can expect it because it's going to happen, you know? So finding this internal thread where you've got the ability to resource yourself with back to love and then appreciate that thing happened so that you could bring in more of that love and that joy that you know you're capable of.
I love that. And we have to remember, if people get it backwards, they usually want the creation, the result, the thing they want to have, right? But like the creator is what is creating everything. Like us, we are the creator. Nothing can be created without the creator. So like the first thing that we focus on is in the creator, taking care of this body, taking care of this vessel, dissolving the blocks, coming back into self-love, into our truth, into our power is the first step. This is the first step. This is why in our field, people are getting into like this understanding now that is all being created by that. Like people more than ever, like this has been like a huge shift in consciousness. Now it's like our industry, like we have slightly, of course, we have different things that we teach and serve and contribute to people's lives, but it's all about people. It's all about making people see their power, basically, right? And becoming more healthy and all of those things. So this is it. So there's 3 phases. It's like the creator, the creative process, and the creation. The creation is the last thing. The creator is the thing. The creative process is what you do. It's like the practices, the things, you know, that you're doing for the creation to pop out is the power that you give. So the creator is you, and then you add power into it, into you. You basically add power into you. When you add power into you, which is your creative process, then the creation manifests.
Yeah, you're building a platform for it. You're through you as the creator. It really, that's a big piece of everything we're talking about here.
Yeah.
Is
I like that meta example.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
I knew you would like that.
Yeah.
So finding, I think for all of our listeners, like really dropping into you as the creator, nothing in your world is there without you being there to have created it. So, appreciating that you have that power, that you have that medicine, that you have that energy behind you, and therefore you can create whatever you want. That's the choice you get to make.
Yeah, and I actually really appreciate you're not bypassing
Mm-hmm.
the stuff that you've created that maybe you're not so happy with. Like you have to be able to appreciate that you're powerful enough to also have created the pain and the suffering and the things that you say you don't want. That you are, if you're that powerful to create what hurts, just imagine if you applied that power, that creative potential towards the things that are going to give you what you really desire at your deepest level. The same juice does the same work in the direction that you would rather go in. So there's your proof. If you're really hurting right now, there's your proof of how powerful you are. Oh. Now, what's your pattern interrupt? What are you going to do with it, creator? What are you going to do with it, little spark plug,
This is the pattern interrupt. Exactly.
Yeah.
Okay, the pattern interrupt is to remind yourself who you are, how powerful you are, that you created this. Yeah. And you made it, and you not only created it, but you were so freaking magnificent that you made yourself believe it's true.
Yeah, right. You're so good at this that you actually blamed it on everyone else. Wow. No, what would it be like if you stopped living that story and realized that you don't have to be a victim. You don't have to be taken advantage. You don't actually have to hold that painful story. You can take ownership and just take responsibility and now fucking change your life. Yeah. Go on. You can do it.
I'm right in the middle of it. It's happening now for me. It feels so good.
Yeah. It's inspiring. It's inspiring.
It's so inspiring.
To know that you have the key that unlocks the door. You don't actually have to wait around for someone to come save the day. You can save the day. Mm-hmm. You are the superhero. You're the one you've been waiting for.
This is it. Like if we're talking about real true power, no one can do it for you. Because you can have all the money in the world, and also like even if you have millions of dollars in your bank account, remind yourself it's not real. Mm-hmm. Even if your bank account has $50 million, drop it in and say, this is not real. My consciousness created it. Thank you so much for, I believe, I'm so magnificent that I created this. And that's why there's no difference from a person that is $5 to a person that is 50 million. And that's what blows everyone's mind when I talk about this. It's like, what do you mean? It's because it's on an illusion. But we have to remind ourselves, because the thing is, when we remind ourselves that this is an illusion, then we actually become the creators. Like we actually become not outside, but inside. We operate from the inner power, from the divine intelligence, not from the external validation of things.
Right. Yeah, I think that's part of, like, again, there's like an ego trap, right? It's, well, I have to earn this. It's the only way this is going to happen. Or I'm so broke, or I'm so rich. It's like this over-identification that says I'm doing well or I'm not doing well. It all ends up being a story. And when you can realize that you are no different from having no money to having lots of money. You're still the same you. You're the one that you still tuck into bed every night. And it doesn't matter what's in the bank account, what is or isn't in the bank account. It doesn't matter the type of sheets that you're curled up with. What you are you. and you aren't even a you. I mean, if we really want to go like out there, the whole non-dualistic viewpoint, it's like you're not even you. You're just a bunch of cells with spirit having this wild ride through you looking out your eyes to have this bizarro experience on this thing called planet Earth. But it's the same person that's in Willow. It's the same consciousness that's in Thatja, that's in Leah. It's just having its own hilarious experience of pain and pleasure, of suffering and bliss.
It's a human game.
It's not personal.
We're playing the human game, and the human game is nothing but a movie that we play. It's not real, but we're playing it. Like it's a game.
So let's have fun with it.
Let's have fun. Exactly.
Let's enjoy
and if it's not if it's not fun, then appreciate it that it's not fun and you created that. Yay! Let's go.
Yeah. And just to like kind of create a parallel viewpoint, if we were to suspend the financial example, I'll give a personal married life example. As my husband sort of explores sort of this similar concept, he's married to a very emotional being, and he never knows how I'm going to react to one thing or another. I could go completely off the handle of something that took him totally off guard. And how does he create freedom and more love for us in our relationship? Is he just goes, oh, that's not my wife. That's just her conditioning, like that doesn't stop me from loving Leah, even though she's just looks like she's batshit crazy right now. My reaction to her reaction is just my conditioning reacting to her conditioning. Like it's not who she is. And so he gets to be on this wild ride of this girl who the universe knows as Leah, but who's really just reacting and responding to her conditioning. And he's going to react and respond because of his conditioning. And we're just going to play out this lovely dynamic. And what the freedom is in that is when we want to fight. You can't talk to me that way, or you shouldn't react that way, or I wish you were different, and you weren't like this when I first met you, and now you are. All that story completely dissolves when one can remind themselves, oh, that's not who she is. That's just her conditioning. That's all that's arising. And then there's so much freedom to love. It's amazing.
And then you also get popped out into your storm.
Totally.
Like, oh, okay.
Yeah. When he doesn't when he just notices oh, that's okay. It's just your conditioning. Honey, you can't control it anyways. Why would I be mad at you? It's not you. And then I'm like, oh my God, I don't have to repair something. I don't have to go through the added drama of, oh my God, I did it again. I'm such a jerk off. I don't have to do any of that because he's just constant in his love, because he just knows it's not her. And for the first time in my life in partnership, I suffer so much less due to his meta experience of going, I just love you. What about that? And I'm like, I'm in. Okay. Why am I crying? I guess I could just cry because it feels good now. I don't have to cry because I'm scared you're going to take your love away. Or I'm scared I have to repair something, or I've done it again and here I go. It's like all that drama doesn't have to play itself out because the unconditional love is getting richer and easier, and there's greater access to it because there's a creation that is fostering the dissolving of the conditioning. And now a new condition gets to be put in place. And I'm noticing, wow, neither one of us are going into pattern or staying in pattern for as long as we normally would if we were constantly reacting to it. And it's kind of been blowing our minds that it can be that easy and that we can be in more harmony. We don't stay stuck so long.
That's a beautiful example, very, so tangible. And I think so many people who are in long-term relationships can really relate to, it creates a downward spiral when conditioning is reacting to conditioning within a dynamic of two people. And so, what Thatja is really bringing to us in this time that we have together is to appreciate all of it, like the amazing moments as well as the moments where you're like, what the fuck, this sucks. Appreciate that too,
Right. Oh my gosh, I'm in it again.
Yeah, here we are again. Did I do that again? Am I an asshole again? And just really and give your partner that break and that
gift.
gift. Just really start to offer them that deeper sense of like, look, none of this is real.
Yeah.
What's really real is that I love you and you can't change that. So no matter what you do, it's, I appreciate who you are at your essence, at your core. And the rest of it is just conditioning and pattern and blah, blah, blah. It's everything that we're talking about. It's almost like those dot pictures where you're like, all of a sudden you're like, oh, I see the image now. So like living what we're talking about is suddenly you're like, oh, I get it. And so listening to this conversation possibly a couple times might be something that really supports you getting to that place where you're like, oh, there's the image that everyone else can see that I couldn't see before. So Thatja, let's wrap it up. Tell us about the gift that you have to offer us, because I know that it's going to help move everyone in this direction.
Well, I didn't exactly think about one because I have so many. So let me talk to you guys and see what you guys prefer, because I have like things around, relationships with men. I have.
What about the masculine union free workshop? It's such a beautiful gift. We're so blessed and we're so lucky to have had this time with you, Thatja. Thank you so much.
Thank you. I'm feeling very appreciative of both of you. Appreciate you so much.
Yes.
I love you. You're powerful. You're a divine creator.
And appreciating all of you audience out there as well.
Yes. Thank you to everyone.
Yay, listening. Love.
Love, love, love.
Now, our favorite part, the dish.
All right. So we just had a really amazing interview with Thatja Andrade. Really beautiful expansion of awareness. So we talked about sexuality and relationships and love and all that, but we also talked about money, and it was fun. Yeah. It's fun to bring some money in, and second chakra holds both sexuality and financial freedom. So there's this or finances, your relationship to finances. And so it was so cool to kind of have some conversation about that.
Yeah, it'll be really interesting to find out from our listeners how many of you are already on the quantum physics thought wave and could follow some of these pieces, and how many of you were just, maybe a little lost. I think for some, it's quite a leap to get to the frame of mind that Thatja was really inviting us to explore. I hope that many of you, started to land, however.
Yeah, absolutely. It was toward the end when I asked this question, I'm like, okay, let's say we have this person and they don't have money for rent. They don't have money to feed their kids, and they're just having a hard time and yada, yada. And I'm like, so they should find one thing to appreciate and appreciate that. She's like, no. They should appreciate every single thing. And I was like, oh, yes, right. That changes everything.
It changes everything.
It changes everything. And so, Lee and I both have been in the practice of appreciating every little thing since then. And it just really changes everything. It's a game changer.
Yeah. And I love this word appreciation. I love gratitude. I think gratitude is very, very powerful on taking ourselves out of this self-centered looping thinking that causes a lot of suffering, but bringing to the table the word appreciation and bridging it to how we see stocks and investments and savings grow and expand, I think was really, really helpful. to be able to go, here's something that I want to appreciate. Here's something that I want to see like expand and multiply.
Grow.
And also, if there's something shitty happening, like right now, we've got a COVID scare at our house during a week where I'm like, oh my God, I have so much going on. I can't afford a cancellation. To just sit back and go, okay, appreciating this. And it kind of makes you pause and interrupt the negative thought form that is brewing around something that you really don't want to deal with. Like I've got a lot of story about how I don't want to cancel this, and what about this, and what about that, and to just kind of sit back and go, okay, appreciate it. And what it makes me want to follow by having that pattern interrupt is, well, what are the amazing things that could happen if the worst case scenario comes true? What are the gifts in that?
Absolutely.
In addition to like unhooking from the story at all.
Yeah, I love that you brought that up, the pattern interrupt, because that is exactly what it is when you start to train your brain to look at everything as like you created it. You made that a reality. So appreciate how powerful you are that you can actually do that. And then take whatever it is, whatever the seemingly negative thing that's happening, and completely transform the story around it. Like instead of not even just getting stuck in the old story or letting it go, you can create a whole different story. Like what, and also not get too far ahead of what's actually happening, right?
Yeah, I think there's such a temptation to fall into victimhood when we get stuck in survival issues, whether that's not having enough money to pay the rent or losing a job, or the comparison of going, oh, somebody else has so much more than me. And then what arises in that is judgments of self or judgments of other. So it was interesting to have her talk about her friend who is a multi-millionaire, maybe even a billionaire, I think she said. And to realize in describing who he is that he's not different from any of us. People who are rich are not any different than people who are super poor. That's the illusion.
Yeah.
That is the illusion. We all suffer. We all have pain. We all have love and bliss too. And so it's, where do you put your attention? That's what's going to grow in your life. And if you put your attention on how much your life sucks and it's everyone else's fault, well, that's where you're going to stay.
Yeah, that's what you're going to see transpire in your life. So we really hope that you get the full experience of this. Thatja really drove it home. She really said the same thing in multiple different ways so that everyone listening could really grok it and understand it. And we would love to hear what you got from this interview, like what really has shifted the days following when you listen to this.
One thing I'll just sort of leave us on is I loved the honesty of just saying, when she's talking about emailing her her list and just going, look, I really hate emails. And I pretty much promised not to email you unless I really got something to say. Wouldn't it be wonderful if all marketing was like that? So I think there's something like when you stand for that, when you just don't follow the leader because that's what industry says you should do, but you really stay true to what excites you and what inspires you and what motivates you. Like my imagination really got to get broader and bigger if I just said no to things that I really don't like doing. And just like finally just owned it, let it go, get free, instead of feeling like, well, you have to do this in order to do that or get that. So I just want to like give another appreciation to just only doing what you love and then seeing that multiply, magnify, and come back to you.
Hallelujah. God bless.
So here's to no more emails.
To all the people. I know Leah really
here's to no
that
more
one.
Facebook.
To the things we don't love.
The more mermaid days at a pool.
And to more interviews. I think we really love doing these interviews.
I get so much out of them.
They're phenomenal.
I love marinating in the afterglow of each one. So thank you, Thatja. Thank you to all of you. Please share with us what you thought, what you liked. And If you wouldn't mind, like this podcast. Your comments go a long way. Your likes go a long way in helping other people experience our content.
See you soon.
Love, love, love.
Thanks for tuning in. If the hosts seem to know what they were talking about, that's because they do. Leah Piper is a tantric sex master coach and a positive psychology facilitator. Dr. Willow Brown is both a Chinese and functional medicine doctor and a Taoist sexology teacher. Don't forget, your comments, likes, subscribes, and suggestions matter. Let's realize this new world together.